I think that's definitely an easy key. The Packers, Dallas actually has the third overall offense in terms of yards.
Yeah.
They're fifth in both passing and rushing. But they have the third overall offense. So, I mean, this is going to be a good test for the defense. On the road, the Smith brothers got featured on Fox earlier today. They got an exclusive interview with Aaron Andrews. So, I feel like anytime they feature players before the games, then they go out and they don't do very well. Remember when Clinton Dix and DJ Swearinger got interviewed as the best safety duo in the NFL after he went to the Washington last year?
Yeah.
And then they went out that day, and I think they lost by a ton.
Yeah,
and
it turned out was as bad as everybody knew that
Right.
he was when he left Green Bay.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we are reconnected to the internet. We have 24 people watching now. So
okay.
We're back on the internet.
We lost a lot of people.
Yeah, we did. We did lose a lot of people.
We're back online, though?
But we're back, yes.
Okay. Hi. Welcome back. We didn't really talk about anything while you were gone except for food.
And Jason.
Yeah, no. Disguised looks. You talked about last week and Dak's struggling.
Yeah.
The Saints have a pretty good defense. I mean, I think the Packers have been doing that all season, though. They've been disguising.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what this defense does.
They've been trying to, and getting into coverage now. Oren Burks is active today. I don't know if he's going to play much. He's one of those X factors that in the middle that could be effective if you've got him out there with Blake, because he can actually cover somebody.
Right. So Dak, here's the deal. Dak struggled last week against the Saints. He struggled last week reading the defense and late movement and changes to the defense just before he snapped the ball. And that is what this Packers defense does. So Dak is not Carson Wentz. He's not going to read things as well as Carson Wentz. And if the Packers just do what they do, and they do what the scheme is designed for, where they give them the double A gap, mug fronts, they look like they're bringing pressure, and suddenly the linebacker drops back. Both linebackers drop back. Nobody's coming, and now they're only rushing 4. Or, hey, all of a sudden, they are rushing all of those dudes, and you're screwed. Dak doesn't read that quite as well as Carson Wentz did. And so if the Packers just do what they do defensively, things are going to look better for the Packers this week than it did against the Eagles.
Yeah, that, and you got to tackle. You got to tackle well. You got to stay in your lanes. One of the reasons why the Eagles ran so well is the Packers just did not play disciplined football. I don't know where their brains went.
Yeah.
On a short week at home.
So this is what Mike Pettin said about that. He said it's always critical. It's not something we ignore. Sometimes schematically you lean one way or the other at times, but our issues were fundamental. So Mike Pettin saying defensively the struggles they're having, especially against the run, are fundamental issues. It's not that they don't have the personnel for it. It's not that they don't have the ability. It's that guys weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing against the run, a.k.a. they weren't staying in their gaps. They were being maybe a little over-aggressive, and I think this defense was drinking a little bit of their own Kool-Aid, feeling that the pass rush had arrived. Getting after the quarterback is the thing we're going to do, and creating turnovers. But then when the Eagles slowed the game down and started pounding it up the gut.
And when they didn't get turnovers and when they didn't get to the quarterback.
The defense was out of position.
Yep.
They were way out of position. And I think probably especially towards the end of that game, they were pressing really hard to try to get things back in line. And don't be surprised if we see more of what we saw in the first 3 weeks. And we don't see what we just watched last week. I wouldn't be surprised if this defense looks more like what we were expecting going into last week.
If they can get, I always say multiple turnovers, but if they can get 2 today, then I think they're going to be in decent shape to maybe surprise some people and win a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just saw somebody I trust clapping, which means that the Bears are not doing well. Something bad is happening with the Bears. Did they just turn the ball over on downs?
Yep.
Threw a pick.
All right.
Oh, Daniel. I love that guy.
Chase Daniels?
Oh, is it Daniel? It's Daniel. There's no S.
Is it Daniel?
Yeah, it's just Daniel.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No S.
He's a Bears quarterback. Doesn't matter.
No S.
Doesn't matter. He threw a pick. That's, pretty standard Bears stuff.
The one thing that we haven't talked about is, we have amongst ourselves, but not on the show, is Matt LaFleur. It gets old and it's getting really tired. Everybody questioning whether or not he's got what it takes and what he's doing with the Packers, and can he instill this new culture and can he turn things around? Things were bad last season. This is the first adversity this team is facing this season. They won their first 3 games. Now they're coming off of a loss, and they're going on the road against a really tough opponent.
Yeah.
It's, if the Packers don't win today against the Cowboys, their season is not over. Don't jump off the ledge. That's ridiculous.
It's really early.
It's far from over. There's no. Yes, it sucks, but it's not going to be the end of the world, and it does not hamper their abilities to make the playoffs or win games in the playoffs. They'd have to come back to Dallas if they have to play the Cowboys, but the good news is they'd be going to Dallas to play the Cowboys, right?
Right. So if you have to come back to Dallas in the playoffs, means you're not playing outside in the cold in Lambeau Field. You're playing in a dome, which Aaron Rodgers has excelled in domes, especially in the playoffs. That is a thing that he has been very vocal about, that he enjoys playing in a dome late in the season. He enjoys doing that. And anytime Aaron Rodgers is happy with his playing situation, that's a good day. That's a good thing.
Well, you play at Lambeau Field, and so you better, he says he has to hope for home games in the playoffs, and I don't know if he's just saying that to try to make everybody happy, but he needs to mean it.
This is a topic maybe for another time, but does he? Because everything that happened with this team in this offseason and talking about being louder at Lambeau Field and getting off your butts and actually cheering on the defenses on the field, is it really home field advantage when your crowd doesn't really know when to cheer for your team and when not to do the wave? I mean, Rodgers, I think, is saying those things, but is he pandering to fans just because, that's the thing you should say?
Right.
Right. The home field advantage at Lambeau has been improved this season, but obviously not what it should be. Not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Anyways, that's way off topic.
That's
not today's topic.
No, it's not. But my big thing is that I think you don't want to think of Aaron Rodgers as a game manager, but
right.
if he if you would ask anybody to do that, I would say Aaron Rodgers more than anybody. Just make it work. Don't give up on the run. Run the football. Don't get too far out of your game.
Yeah.
But he's got to be a big part of that too. He's got to make good decisions at the line of scrimmage. If it's an option, or he has an option, or he changes the play because he sees something he likes, but then he's going to take a 3-step drop and be like, "Oh, I made the wrong call," and just throw the ball in the turf or in the dirt.
Yeah.
That's not going to bode well for this team today either.
Yeah.
And a lot of that doesn't fall on the play calling guy is going to chalk that up to Matt LaFleur and Hackett and everybody else and say, "Oh, they called the wrong play. They didn't." A lot of that's Aaron Rodgers making his own decision.
Packers fans are really they've been
special.
Very impatient this season. Very, very impatient. And there's this stink of desperation in Packer Nation. Look, they might not make the playoffs this year. They have a new head coach, a whole new system. Things are changing over. They might not make the playoffs. And if you didn't sign up with being okay with that, then you sign yourself up for some misery, because there's going to be some ups and downs. This team is going to look like shit at times, and we're just going to need to deal with that.
We are definitely off the rails with the word usage today.
We are, my
We're
bad.
still frustrated about this Eagles loss. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Even if they don't beat the Cowboys today, I still think everything will turn out okay. So any other keys? So it looks like the Bears are going to drop one today. So even if the Packers don't win today, I think they'd still be tied with the Bears and have the tiebreaker. The Vikings won, so I can't remember what the recordage is. Would they?
I don't know right now. I'm still thrown off, first of all, by the stream turning itself off, and this cold is trying to kill me mid-show.
You could potentially be dead.
I could
So
die,
should we just go to – all right, so
let's do our predictions.
Okay, so for predictions, let me read verbatim what I wrote for all of you. These very prolific thoughts that I put down to fill up the last few minutes of the show.
I just saw it.
I actually have so many notes and so much to say that I had to write it all down. Cowboys today, and who cares what the score is? Thank you.
All right. Well,
no, I mean, I do think Dallas wins this game because they're at home, and I want to see them overcome something and raise up, come back from a loss, play well, win a big game on the road. If they show me that today, I'll probably not doubt this team much the rest of this season. You've got some tough games coming up against Kansas City on the road, against the Chargers on the road. The Lions come to Lambeau Field next week. They're unbeaten. They're coming off a bye week with an extra week to prepare.
Yeah.
And they've won 4 straight against Green Bay. So I know that sounds weird, but the undefeated Lions are coming to Lambeau Field. And then they face these same Raiders that are about to chalk up a huge win over the Chicago Bears in London. So pip pip cheerio. Happy high tea at noon.
All right.
To the Oakland Raiders, but yeah, I've got the Cowboys winning it today, but I don't think the Packers are going to embarrass themselves.
I'll bring some positivity to the end of the show, okay? Because that's what I do. Jason says the negative stuff, and I'll say the positive stuff.
That's not negative.
You're right. No, you're right. You weren't negative, because they are going to lose some football games. I think Jason's being reasonable. It is early in the season. You did say that. So if they lose today, it's okay. But I'm going to pick the Packers to win for a few reasons. I think not having Tyron Smith, I think, is going to be a big deal for the Cowboys. But not only that, the Packers are coming off a little extra rest, and the Cowboys are coming off of a Sunday night football game. So a little less time to rest for the Cowboys. The Packers played Thursday and then had a few extra days to sit around. So I'd say game plan-wise, they've had a little extra time. Rest-wise, they've had a little extra time, and I think that's going to be a big benefit for the Packers today. They do play well in Dallas, so I'm going to take the Packers. It's not going to be a pretty game. I think the Packers win 21-14, and there are going to be times today when you want to rip your hair out, and you're frustrated and annoyed and grossed out. All those things are going to happen.
Yep, and that's football for you. That's the NFL, and a lot of that really is going to relate to the referees, because the referees are going to they're going to give us a couple today, and they're going to cost us a couple today. So get your heads wrapped around that now. You won't be as upset when it happens.
That's right. All right, real quick. Let's just take a quick look at the chat. If you have any questions in the chat, make sure you throw those out there. Brandy, thanks for joining us. The Bull DeVoe, thank you for joining us. John Benson, make sure you hit that like button on our second edition of the pregame show, since obviously
and we get double likes. Dustin Logan, thank you. Dustin's here. Jake Sadler.
Brian is very excited about
Ken
the Bears
Smith
losing.
with no avatar.
That's great. No avatar. Come on.
Well, Ken doesn't have an avatar. It's okay. He's like Ken has the equivalent of the Twitter egg.
Oh, okay. Well, the internet's hard.
But he's here every week.
Sorry, I'm just teasing you, Ken. That's fine. You can have nothing. You could have nothing there if you want to. That's
we got a super chat here.
All right.
From Porkmaster.
Hey, how about that?
Tell Nags to one-on-one me in Madden. Okay, we will let him know.
We will let him know. Somebody is on the hunt and they want their showdown.
For those of you who are interested too, I think Aaron and Corey are going to be doing their game day.
Yep,
over Cheesehead TV.
They will be watching the game at the Cheesehead TV YouTube channel.
It'll go from us
Actually,
here
it'll probably
to
be on
that.
Facebook and Twitter, and they just throw their show everywhere.
Yeah.
They just try to infect the internet with transplants and whatever they're doing.
All the good things.
So yeah, all right.
All right, so all the other things, Joey, follow us on Twitter. I am at Jason Perone. Jeremy is at JeremyRVDL.
That's right.
And then we've got a Patreon page if you want to support the show and give us the ability to do more fun things. We discovered some additional giveaway items that we have that we're going to be giving away throughout the season.
That's right.
Autographed pictures,
stuff
memorabilia.
I forgot I had. I was digging through my closet. I found a couple extra autographs.
There you go. Patreon.com/Cheesehead TV Live is our show. Please take a look at that. It'll earn you some additional things from the two of us.
That is right.
Other than that, it's just time to play some football finally after 10 days of waiting.
Yep.
So it's real simple. Go Pack Go, and this has been Cheesehead TV Live.
I wasn't ready, Jason.
No.
I wasn't ready. Now I'm ready.
Thank you for listening to Cheesehead TV Live. Check out cheeseheadtv.com for more great Packers content.